systems need. I needed that collegial rhetoric. I needed the critical and analytical thinking, speaking, writing skills. I needed that. Because in order to fight the system, I needed to intelligently discourse the beginnings of our nation's policing system. I needed to comprehend the systematic and structural racism. Racism that does not start or end at the color line, like so many people want to say. Racism that crosses barriers relating to the differences we have. Differences like mental illness, substance abuse, physical handicap, that sets us apart from the status quo. Differences that are continuously and rigorously criminalized. I needed to understand the war on drugs, the mass carceral state we are living in. Something that begins with that lens on a particular people and spread to people with just differences. We were never the flavor of the month. It just became popular to rock us for that. And I heard what my sister in peerness, my peer crush, Shereen, said about people with those letters behind their name. Yeah, I need to get those letters, not to emphasize them because I'll always be a peer, but in order to have full entrance, in order to make the changes that I want to make, in order to be a policy maker. I can't come up there like, yo, what up, what's good? You know what I'm saying? I had to learn how to swivel and pivot. I needed higher education to do that. So I'm now a proud college senior in the honors program. I'm great. I can't even stand myself to death. I will dance across the stage in the spring, and in the fall, I'm entering a master's PhD program. Why? Because I can. Because see, when you call me all those detrimental names, those labels, and I won't even mention them, but you know what they are. Speaking to drug abuse, speaking to homelessness, speaking to mental illness. When you call me all of that, and I lived in that, you're not going to call me Dr. Skip.
That's right.
And I'm going to make sure you call me Dr. Skip. And when I write my name down in my email signature, it'll be Helen Skip Skipper, peer, PhD. Remember that. You don't call me Dr. Skip. But the most funniest and beneficial about all of that, and this for me is a mic drop, even in the bastions of higher education and academia, there are still groups of folks who do what they do because of, get this, their lived experience.
That's right.
So I am going to be a criminologist, and I am going to do that based on my lived experiences of growing up in the carceral system. That was a mic drop. That was like, I'm just going to fall over and die because I'm here. I don't need to go nowhere else. I don't know if I'm way over time. I'm probably under, way over. I don't know. But I like quotes because they kind of say what you want to say. You didn't say it, but you love it so much, you got to say it anyhow. So I'm not going to accept this as my own. And I'm also going to say if there was a word or two in this that I was not all right with. We believe in person-first language. I just talked about that stigmatizing names that I was called and how you're going to call me doctor for now. So in this quote, I took out the word and I put unapologetic. But I need you to really hear this quote because this not only applies to me, this applies to everyone within the sound of my voice. And I'm talking to you, I'm talking to you, I'm talking to you. Hi, Harvey. I'm talking to you. Rita, I'm talking to you. This is by Steve Jobs, and it says, here's to the unapologetic ones, the misfits, the rebels, the troublemakers.
Yes.
The round pegs and the square hole. The ones who see things differently. They're not fond of rules, and they have no respect for the status quo. You can quote them, you can disagree with them, you can glorify them, you can vilify them. They don't care, they still gonna do them. About the only thing you can't do is ignore them because they change things. They push the human race in this thing called life forward. And while some may see them as just unapologetic, we see genius. Because the ones who are unapologetic enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do. Ladies and gentlemen, and everybody out there in, I don't know, the interwebs, I'll tell you another favorite expression. We are the ones that's going to change the world. And we started doing it here as we gathered together in a big community, as we proudly proclaim our pureness, our unapologeticness, as we proudly sit in who we are. And we are something kind of wonderful, every one of us. My name is Skip. I think I'm ahead of time, which is something that I don't really do. You know, so I'm going to consider myself fortunate, and I'm not going to continue to beat you in the head. I'm just going to say that I stand here unapologetic. Who stands here with me? Do you all? All right now, united in fairness. It ain't about substance abuse. It ain't about mental health. It's about lived experiences. We all have them. I thank you.
We thank you.
I thank you for y'all today. I'm going to go down, but y'all just remember, unapologetic. Thank you.
All right.